Have you ever felt like your brain just won't stop talking? Like a classroom where everyone is shouting at the same time and you can't even hear yourself think? That's how Maya felt. She was a normal high school student with friends, homework, and dreams. But inside, her mind was always spinning. She worried about grades, about the future, about what people thought of her. At night, she couldn't sleep. During the day, she felt heavy, like she was carrying a backpack full of bricks that no one else could see. One day, she realized she couldn't keep living this way. She thought, there has to be a way to calm my mind. And slowly, she began to discover small but powerful habits that helped her breathe, focus, and finally find peace. Today, I'll share those same 7 ways with you. The first way to empty your mind is to breathe deeply. It sounds simple, right? But when you feel overwhelmed, your breath becomes short and shallow. Try this. Take a slow breath in through your nose, hold it for 3 seconds, and then let it out gently. Maya started practicing this before exams. Instead of panicking, she closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and felt her shoulders drop. Breathing gave her space between her thoughts, and in that space, peace could grow. The second way is to write it down. Sometimes your mind feels crowded because it's holding on to too much. Maya used to lie awake at night thinking about homework, friendships, and all the what ifs. One evening, she opened a notebook and started writing everything down. Every worry, every plan, even the silly thoughts. When she finished, she looked at the page and smiled. Her thoughts were no longer locked inside her head. They were out, safe, on paper. Writing became her way of emptying the backpack of bricks, and each time she wrote, her load felt lighter. The third way is to move your body. When your mind is stuck, your body can help set it free. Maya discovered this after a long day of school. Instead of lying on her bed scrolling her phone, she went for a walk around the block. At first, she still thought about her problems, but as her legs moved, her thoughts began to quiet. Step by step, the noise in her head faded. Some days she played basketball with friends. Other days she just stretched in her room. Movement doesn't have to be big or intense. Even small actions remind your brain to let go. The fourth way is to focus on one thing. Our minds get restless when we try to do everything at once. Maya often studied while texting, listening to music, and worrying about tomorrow's test, all at the same time. Her thoughts felt like they were crashing into each other. One afternoon, she tried something different. She put her phone away, opened her math book, and told herself, just this, only this problem. For 15 minutes, she focused on solving one problem, nothing else. To her surprise, the noise in her head went quiet. Focusing on one thing gave her mind rest. The fifth way to empty your mind is to go outside. Nature has a quiet power that calms us. One weekend, Maya told me she felt trapped inside her house. She had been sitting at her desk for hours, scrolling on her phone, and her thoughts kept spinning. I told her, put on your shoes, go outside. Don't take your phone, just walk. So she did. She walked through a small park near her home. She listened to the wind in the trees. She felt the grass under her feet. She watched the clouds moving slowly across the sky. When she came back, she said, I didn't solve any problems, but I feel lighter. It's like my brain had space to breathe. You don't need a forest or a mountain. You only need a moment outside. If you live in the city, nature is still there, if you look for it. Sit on the steps and feel the sun or the breeze on your face. Walk down the street and notice the shapes of the trees planted on the sidewalks. Look for a small garden or even a single flower growing through the cracks in the pavement. Open your window at night and look at the moon and stars. Listen to birds singing early in the morning, even if it's mixed with city sounds. Nature reminds us that life is bigger than our worries. It whispers, slow down, be here. And when you listen, your mind begins to empty. The sixth way is to create something. Drawing, writing, music, cooking, anything that lets your hands move and your imagination flow. Maya once told me she loved art, but hadn't drawn in months. She was too busy with school. One night, when she felt stressed, I said, "Take 10 minutes. Just draw something small." She picked up a pencil and began sketching a simple flower. At first, her thoughts kept buzzing: homework, exams, the future. But as she drew each petal, her mind grew quieter. She looked up after 10 minutes and said, "I forgot my stress. I was only thinking about the picture." Creating something takes the energy of your thoughts and gives it a home outside your head. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be big. It only needs to be yours. In school life, there are many ways to create. Doodle in the margins of your notebook when your brain feels heavy. Write a short poem or story in English, even if it's only 3 lines. Practice an instrument after class. Play one song slowly, just for yourself. Build something in science class and focus only on the project in front of you. Cook or bake at home and notice each step: the smell, the taste, the movement of your hands. When you create, your mind has no space for endless worries. It is busy with shapes, colors, sounds, and movement. And in that space, peace quietly returns. The seventh way is to talk to someone you trust. Sometimes when you keep everything inside, your head feels too full, but when you talk, the load becomes lighter. Maya once stayed silent about her stress for weeks. She didn't want to bother her parents or friends, but the thoughts piled up until she felt like she couldn't breathe. Finally, she talked to her best friend after school. She said, "I feel overwhelmed. I can't stop thinking about my grades and the future." Her friend just listened. She didn't fix everything. She didn't have to. But after the conversation, Maya said, "It feels like 100 pounds just left my chest." Talking doesn't mean you are weak. It means you are human. And when you let someone in, your mind makes space for calm. At school, you have many people you can talk to: a close friend who understands what you're going through, a teacher you trust who might give you advice or just listen, or even a school counselor. At home, it might look different: talking to a parent or older sibling after dinner, sitting with a grandparent who shares quiet wisdom, or even writing in a journal as if you were talking to someone. It counts too. The important part is this: don't keep everything locked inside. When you speak, your thoughts find air. And in that space, your mind finally has room to rest. These 7 ways are simple, but they can change everything when your mind feels too full. You don't need all of them at once. Even choosing one can make a difference. So here's my challenge for you. Pick the way that feels right for you today. Maybe it's writing, maybe it's moving, maybe it's just breathing. Try it and notice how your mind feels afterwards. And I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 7 ways do you want to try first? Tell me in the comments below. I'll be reading them. Remember, peace doesn't come from outside. It starts with small choices inside of you. Every time you breathe deeply, write your thoughts, or focus on the present, you are training your mind to become stronger. You are stronger than you think. You have more control than you realize. And every small step brings you closer to calm. Stay calm, stay present, and empty your mind.